Shopping is hard, right? But I found a better way. Stitch Fix online personal styling makes it easy. I just give my stylist my size, style, and budget preferences. I order boxes when I want and how I want. No subscription required. And he sends just for me pieces, plus outfit recommendations and styling tips. I keep what works and send back the rest. It's so easy. Make style easy. Get started today at stitchfix.com/Spotify. That's stitchfix.com/Spotify.
Welcome to Speak. We've made it to the NBA Conference Finals. We've got a great group to talk about it with. I'm Joy Taylor. That's NBA Finals MVP Paul Pierce, Super Bowl champion Keyshawn Johnson, and Fox Sports senior NBA analyst Rick Bucher. What is going on? You got a lot of red today. It's all coordinating. We're ready to go.
All right, we started the show. I didn't know we started the show.
Yeah, we did.
The sexy red haircut.
Oh, yeah. No,
You gotta switch up.
No, don't put me in that category.
No, I'm gonna talk the
This
hair.
is burgundy.
Man.
This is burgundy.
I'm just talking about
Burgundy,
the hair.
burgundy.
I didn't say nothing else, Paul. Just the hair.
It's like USC red. Right?
Fight on.
Fight on. Let's get right into tonight's matchup between two young stars. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's Thunder hosts Anthony Edwards' Timberwolves in Game 1 tonight in Oklahoma City. Both Shai and Ant have made the All-Star team the last 3 seasons, but only Ant has made the conference finals. But Shai might win the MVP this season, which they haven't announced for some reason. Rick, when are they announcing this? I know you.
Your guess is as good as mine at this point.
When are we going to find out?
I want to know why we haven't found out yet, honestly.
What is going
normally
on?
At this
Found
point,
out what?
He counts?
Oh, the MVP?
Yes, but he might be the MVP. But Paul, who's under more pressure to reach the finals, Ant or Shai?
This is an easy one, Joy. It's none other than SGA. This is a guy that's become the #1 seed last year. This year was the #1 seed. And he's probably going to win MVP. So with that being said, a guy with the accomplishments who's done more in the league since being in the league as far as notoriety, being considered one of the 1 or 2 best players in the league, and being the #1 seed 2 years in a row, whereas now you've been battle tested. Nobody had expectations for you last year. The expectations went up a notch this year, especially since Rick Bucher, our senior analyst here at Fox Sports 1, voted for SGA. So the pressure is all on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to bring home a title this year.
Well,
Do you want to follow that, Rick?
Rick?
Let's start with the fact that I didn't vote for him.
Yeah, you didn't vote for him. He voted for Shai.
No, you voted for SGA. Just said number 2, right?
He did.
Number 2, though.
Yeah.
You changed your vote.
No, he had to change. Rick had to change his vote. That's what's holding up the announcement.
He was on my ballot. Oh my goodness. No, Paul is correct. It has to be Shai because, well, it hasn't been announced yet. All indications are that he is going to be MVP. And at the very least, he was one of 2 guys that was battling for MVP. Ant wasn't in that conversation. And so not only does he have to justify that he was regarded as one of the 2 best or most important players in the league, but he's leading the team with the best record in the entire Western Conference. So for that reason, he has to uphold that. All right. I just don't. In comparison, yeah, there's a lot that Ant can gain from advancing, but I just feel like Shai has to justify what we've already credited him with.
You know, there's been other guys that have won regular season MVPs that did not go on to win the NBA Finals.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and we questioned their MVP worthiness as a result.
But eventually they went on to win an NBA final at some point in time in their careers. Not all, but I said some have. Mm-hmm. But when you look at Ant-Man and Anthony Edwards, there's this conversation that we had a week ago about the face of the league. Mm-hmm. All of those sort of things. Can he be the face of the league? What is he? All these comparisons. We never hear SGA compared to anybody. But we always hear Ant-Man compared to one of the great off guard, so to speak.
Jordan all the time.
Jordan or whatever.
You
that
can say
reminds
it.
you.
We're not rubber stamping that. We're just saying that it happened.
No, I just was saying I didn't want to just Jordan. Okay, I'll do it. Jordan. You don't hear that about SGA at all, being compared to people. And so when I hear that, in order to be considered one of those guys that we compare him to, you got to get to the championship and win it. He's been in the Western Conference final 2 years in a row now. This is his second time around, although OKC has had the #1 seed. They haven't been in this position like Ant-Man. Now, Ant-Man is back in this position again with a little bit of a different team, I would say.
Yeah,
a little bit of a different team.
Sure.
I mean, obviously, Rudy Gobert's there and a couple other guys, there's Conley and those guys.
Julius
Randle's a new body.
and Dante DiVincenzo.
A new body. So he's here again with a couple new bodies. So it's clearly the pressure for me is for him to reach the finals is on and popping.
Yeah, I agree. It's Ant. We've already had the conversation about, yes, I am the final say on whether.
It was no. It was okay. I won.
He and I won because I said so. No, I think it's Ant because it's not that there is no pressure on Shea. There is, but they're kind of new here. They're kind of ascending. The expectations are high, but if it goes to a Game 7 and they don't go to the finals, we'll expect them to be back next year. We'll have said this was a great season. Maybe they fell short of getting to the finals, but we're not going to start having conversations about are we putting Shea up too far, or are we elevating him too quickly? We had the conversation about Ant last year, about him being the face of the league and the next superstar to step up and take a hold of the NBA. He's controversial. He's old school. He's Jordan-esque. He brings the attitude that the NBA is overall missing when we have these conversations about, competitive nature and rivalries. Like, all of that is Ant. And we're all paying attention to what he does. And let's be honest, so far through the postseason, he's had some moments, but it's not like he has been completely dominant throughout the postseason, even though they're here. He's their most important player.
Yeah.
He's their best player, but he has still had, to me, to have that real signature moment. He has that opportunity to do that here. He is somebody that we are waiting to crown. We're waiting. Everyone is just foaming at the mouth to give it to him because he's done the work. He's been exciting. He has keys, snap, crackle, pop. He's been in the Western Conference Finals multiple times. He's a multiple-time All-Star. He is an electric player that could very easily slide into that role. And we are now seeing, particularly in these conference finals, a bit of the, handing of the baton to the young guys. The old guard is not there.
For sure.
Think about it this way in a much easier fashion. OKC versus Indy, or the Knicks versus Minnesota, or Minnesota versus Indy. I believe that most of us would rather see Minnesota, as much as we like SGA, we would rather see Minnesota in the NBA Finals because of Ant-Man and that snap, crackle, pop.
Professional integrity, Rick can
I don't care about no professional integrity. I would rather. It ain't on my network here at Fox, so I don't give a damn.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. But he's the star of the conference finals to me. He's the one that everyone is paying the most attention. Yeah.
And
he's
then,
the one I think everyone is paying the most attention to.
Between him and Bronson, those are the two for me.
Yeah, so I think he's under more pressure to reach the finals.
My pushback on that is simply that he's 23 years old. Like, there's so much more room for Ant to evolve and reach that status. And not to say that just because SGA is what's that?
That's a great thing. Because he's at the beginning stages right now at 23 years old.
But that lessens the pressure. I'm just wondering, Paul, when you guys formed the big three, and those expectations, did you feel a pressure, and did you feel like you had the most pressure?
Yeah, 100%.
To win a championship that year.
100%. I mean, I remember because when we put the team together, they was like, oh, they gonna win it. We was on the cover of every magazine, every publication. It was like, people was coming out like, oh, they ought to just handed them the championship. So that's pressure is a privilege.
Yeah.
We appreciated that. Okay, I've been waiting my whole career to somebody say you should be winning the championship. I was like, okay, expectations, I love it.
What did it feel like for you to put that team together, though? For you, when you put that team
I didn't put the team together, Key. I wish because if I had to put the team together, I would have did it 5 years earlier.
Yeah.
Well, it's getting started tonight. The Eastern Conference Finals tip off tomorrow night. Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers are back in the conference finals for the second year in a row, facing Jalen Brunson and the Knicks. It's a renewal of the Indiana-New York rivalry from the 90s, and Halliburton talked about it during his media session yesterday. Let's take a listen.
You know, I think last year the series was a lot of fun, back and forth. You know, it felt like nobody could win 2 games in a row until we were able to do it. And I think that going into the series, I think that, you know, they didn't like the organization, but I don't think there were certain guys that their fans didn't like. And now they don't really like us too much. So it's all the fun with it, man. And like I said, excited to add more chapters to this, you know, storied rivalry and just continue to be a part of it. And yeah, man, I look forward to playing in that building, and I look forward to the crowd environment. You know, it's a good thing.
Kind of.
Yeah.
So, Rick, what are your expectations for the newest chapter of this rivalry?
I think it's going to be spicy. I think it's going to be sizzling. I think it's going to live up to what we saw with Reggie Miller and John Starks way back in the 90s.
Really?
When that got hot. Yes, because I think that they are very evenly matched. I think we have a lot of names that aren't necessarily household names in Aaron Nesmith and Andrew Nembhard. And maybe you apply that if Josh Hart was playing any place else. I don't know that we'd know him or OG Anunoby. But all these guys have an opportunity to stake a claim to something, and there's some leftover blood from last year that was so competitively fought. There you go. That's Reggie and a little Spike Lee action. I think Reggie's going to be on the mic broadcasting the game, so that's going to add to the flavor. But I think they're both teams that are comfortable playing physical. And the league is allowing a physicality now that we haven't seen in a long time. And I think both of these teams are going to lean into that. And so going into it, you may be thinking of Indianapolis as Naptown. It's one of its nicknames.
For sure, Naptown.
But you're going to be pleasantly surprised, Key. You're going to be glued to your set.
I will be.
Game 2.
And the reason I will be because it's the Knicks. Not because it's the Pacers.
You gotta have a nemesis.
But it's just
gotta have that enemy.
But I think it's
gotta have the villain.
I think it's gonna be fun. And we mentioned the Reggie Miller days and the Spike Lee. All of those sort of things are gonna come back because you got a whole new wave of celebrity types sitting in the front row now.
And you got people that have never heard of that team.
And you still got Spike Lee sitting there. So you're gonna have that's the fun part for me is being able to watch them go back and forth and battle. They had a little bit in the second round last year, but then obviously the Knicks kind of fell apart with injuries and whatnot, so you really didn't get a full grasp of what that series really could have been. I think if they're fully healthy and everybody stays healthy for the most part, it'll be a fun 6-7 games.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think I'm more excited about this conference finals than I am on the West side for the simple fact these two teams played together last year, and I like. You know what? It's great having New York finally in the conference finals since I was a baby. You know, and the Pacers, you know, them doing what they did is a surprise. Now, we call it a rivalry, but is it a rivalry? I really don't know because the last memory I have, maybe last year, the Knicks were hobbled, but before that, it was like I said, I was a baby.
Yep.
You know, it was Reggie Miller and all them guys, and so. But what my expectations for this? I think this is going to be a hard-fought series, and when the tough get going, I'm going to expect the New York Knicks to fold. That's right, they're going to fold when going gets tough.
This is carryover.
When the going gets tough, they're going to fold like a bad hand and a poker hand on the river. They're going to fold. Okay. That's what I expect. If it gets the pressure gets put on them, muck it.
You are on one today.
Oh. What did they put in your coconut water today?
Salt.
I'm serious.
That has nothing to do with the fact that the Knicks beat the Celtics, right?
Maybe a little.
I think it's going to be a fun series also. I think both of these series actually are going to go 7. Yeah, just, sorry.
Joy, come over here. I got the Luka.
Luka ain't gonna live that down.
I got the Luka lip.
Oh, no. Now we have a name for it. I think this will be a very fast series with a lot of energy. I know the Knicks are playing really physical, but I think there will be a lot of physicality in this series. As you mentioned, they're letting the refs are letting guys play throughout the postseason. But this one will feel like a lot of energy, a lot of diving on the floor, a lot of extra plays, a lot
of blue collar guys out there.
Yeah, bringing their lunch pail.
The hard hats and the lunch pails.
The steel toe boots. All of that in this series is what I think.
Steel-toed boots is the Knicks game of Celtics.
I think we're going to get a lot of old school basketball in this series. I think we're going to get a lot of the new school in OKC Wolves.
You also have some trash talkers here.
Yeah.
I mean, Ty has shown that he's not willing to, or he's not afraid to mix it up. Josh Hart will speak his piece. Like I think it's Cat. I think the recipe is there.
Who got the enforcer? Is it the Knicks got more of an enforcer style, or the Pacers?
No, I think it's pretty equal because I think Nesmith is physical. I think Nembhard is physical.
Yeah.
I think
Thorin bring attitude.
Benedict Mathurin will talk some junk.
No, he a champ. He tough down there.
Oh, that's gonna be good then. Pushing and shoving, an elbow or two.
Don't you want the team that beat your team to win? Like, so you feel like you lost to
you got to jump on that New York Knicks bandwagon.
New York and Boston, we just don't like them in no sports.
Yeah.
Baseball, football.
It's fair.
Hockey, basketball. We don't like New York.
A major trade last offseason worked out for the two of the remaining playoff teams. The Timberwolves traded Karl Anthony Towns to the Knicks for Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo. Minnesota made it to the Western Conference Finals last year with Cat, while the Knicks were knocked out in the second round. So, Paul, who do you think has benefited from the trade more, the Knicks or the Timberwolves?
Well, I'm gonna tell you the Knicks definitely benefited more for the simple fact that unless the Timberwolves get to the finals and win it, because they were in the conference finals last year, the Knicks, listen to this, this is their first time in the conference finals in 20 plus years. So they get the benefit of the doubt. And, you know, they've earned it. You know, they got lucky. I mean, but the fact that they're there is great. And so I want to say, hey, because originally I said that the Wolves won the trade. But that still has yet to be seen. But for right now, it's the Knicks because they're in the conference finals and they haven't been there in quite some time.
Yeah, I just back Paul up with that. When you think about it, it's the Knicks. They haven't been in conference finals for quite some time. Minnesota was just there last year. Mm-hmm. So there wasn't really a drop-off for them, but there was a raise in elevation for the Knicks because all of a sudden, Karl Anthony Towns became a guy, a main centerpiece for them. They got him and they gave up a number of assets just to get him, and they got to a place that they were not in last year, which is the Eastern Conference Finals. So we'll see in the end if they make it to the finals versus the Wolves make it to the finals. But as of right now, it's the Knicks because they wasn't there in the past.
Yeah, I agree for that reason. But what do you think, Slick?
I think it benefited both. I thought it was a great trade for both sides, and largely because
Wait, pick one. You over here?
I'm going to lean Timberwolves.
All right, well, tell us why.
Because
you trying to play both sides of the field
over here, man.
Trying to play both sides. Come on.
I'll leave. I'll be talking.
I'm going to take a steel-toed boot for somebody. Man.
No, that's my boy. I love it.
All right, what are your thoughts?
Look, what I love about the trade is the fact that the primary pieces, Julius Randle and Karl Anthony Towns, were kind of misfit in their places. Cat was the incumbent star, and then Anthony Edwards rises, and Karl Anthony Towns was having a hard time adjusting to that. Well, you send him to New York, and you already have Jalen Brunson established, so Cat kind of slides into the same spot, but he's doing it in a more comfortable way. I would say Julius Randle had the same situation. Like, he was the incumbent when Jalen Brunson came to town and kind of blew up, and then he goes to Minnesota, and he takes the number 2 role, but he does it happily. So it benefited both of those guys. The reason I lean Minnesota is because they also got Dante DiVincenzo in the mix. And while, yes, they made it to the Western Conference Finals last year, I'm not sure that they'd have 2 gentlemen sweep and be the team that they are right now if they hadn't made the trade. Just because you got there before doesn't mean you're going to get there again. And this overall, right now, when I look at the Timberwolves, for all that Cat has done in New York, I feel like this is a better Timberwolves team than I saw last year.
Yeah.
And so for that reason, I think it benefited both, but I'm asked to pick a side, I'm going to take the Timberwolves.
There we go.
There you go.
Well, coming up, Super Bowl champion A.J. Brown says the Eagles have to worry about a division rival this season, and he wasn't talking about the Commanders. We'll tell you what A.J. said next on Speak. And don't forget, you can check us out every day on the Fox Sports Channel on Sirius XM.
These guys.
Eagles wide receiver A.J. Brown took notice of the Cowboys trading for wide receiver George Pickens and thinks it will make the Cowboys a threat in the division. Speak up, A.J.
No, I like that. I ain't gonna lie. No, we're gonna have to worry about him for sure. Hey, we're gonna have to worry about him. No, I like the trade. I do like the trade. I like the competition. You know, and I like George Pickens. I like CeeDee Lamb and that collab. You know, and it's gonna be exciting to watch, bro, because all that does is bring the best out of us. So if we know how they coming, like, we know we gotta step it up. You know.
Some good on-camera conversation. On camera.
You don't think that A.J. believes that?
He probably laughed.
No,
Off
he can't be
camera?
laughing. He can't be laughing.
No, he laughing at him.
No, he's not
Because they
laughing.
better than them, Paul.
Who?
The Eagles are better than the
They're
Cowboys.
better than them as a team, but
Yeah, they're
that
better than
wide
them.
receiver duel is up there with
Yeah, but
them.
you're gonna always put, you're always gonna protect your position in the league. That's just
Yeah.
what we do. We're gonna take care of each other.
Right.
But I mean, as a team.
Oh, as a team, they better
not-
than
yeah, they better
as
than
a
them.
team, they do know that. But he's just talking about the duel. You got to worry about him.
So you don't think the Eagles need to worry about them?
Not as a team, no. I don't think the Eagles need to worry about the Cowboys as a team. The Eagles are
Well,
much better
by
football
them,
team.
I mean the combination of.
George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb is
It's a
one
threat.
of the top 4, 5
Yeah.
combinations in the league. I mean, pick
on
and
paper,
choose.
on paper.
Yeah, but they can
we
play
in
though.
on paper season
Right now.
No, but they can
Because they
go
got to
though.
prove it. They got to
No, but they
prove
can
it.
go though.
But the thing is, it don't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter unless you show it on the field.
No, but individually
I
they
done
done already
seen
showed
teams
it.
that with the names that didn't perform up to their level, and that's not on them. But that's how the offense is gonna work. Routes, who's going to who. Like
No, they gotta
at
get the
end,
they gotta get the football
They got to get
to
the
them.
football.
They gotta
but
get it to
on
them.
paper right now, before they actually put it on the field, they up there.
Who on papers? It's not even June. We got a whole summer of on paper.
That's all we got. Yeah, we got a whole summer on paper. I got a lot of paper right here.
Sticking with the Eagles, the team announced yesterday they agreed to a multi-year extension with head coach Nick Sirianni. Eagles owner Jeffrey Lurie released a statement that said Sirianni's, quote, authentic style of leadership, football intelligence, and passion for the game and growth mindset have helped bring out the best in our team. Darnell, I'm going to need you to start the on-paper count. So we're at 2 today.
We had 2 today.
Let's see what when we get to week 1, how many we hit. Key, is Nick Sirianni he's a top what head coach in the NFL?
So I'm gonna take Andy Reid out of it. Can I do that?
Sure.
So take Andy Reid, get rid of Andy, because Andy over there by himself. He's
Right.
chilling at the top.
I'll allow it.
He's a top 5 coach. If I'm taking Andy Reid out, he's a top 5 coach. You know.
If you leave Andy Reid in, he's what, 6?
I would still probably say he's in the top 5, depending on how you want to squeeze it and who you want to move around. Because when you talk about Andy Reid, then Sean McVay, what's the difference between Sean McVay and Nick Sirianni? The difference is Sean McVay calls the plays, Nick Sirianni doesn't. He watches everything and handles and does everything, offensive, defense. He's a head coach.
Well, that's the question.
You know, so you got Andy Reid, Sean McVay. You know, I always gonna put Sean Payton up there just based on what he did in New Orleans, what he's already done in Denver in a short period of time with the quarterback, getting rid of Russell. You know, Mike Tomlin's always gonna be there. And all these guys have won and lost Super Bowls along the way. And Kyle Shanahan is right there. He's right there. So Nick Sirianni falls in that category. He's done, in a short amount, think about it, in 4 years, 2 Super Bowl appearances, 2 NFC Championship games. Every single year, his team has been in the playoffs.
Yep.
And it's like, despite firing and hiring and losing coordinators, every single year he's losing a coordinator. Every single year, whether they get fired or get hired. And he's still at the top of the heap as a coach.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a question that he's in the top 5. You know how I feel about Sean McVay, and he has accomplished similar things to what McVay has done.
Very
Obviously,
similar.
McVay has been coaching a little bit, a head coach a little bit longer, but what Nick Sirianni has done in the last 4 seasons is
Sean McVay didn't do in those 4 seasons.
yeah, is tremendous.
Yeah.
He's absolutely in the top 5. I'm with you. I have Andy Reid, obviously, we'll take him out. Mike Tomlin, McVay, Sirianni, and then from there you can argue amongst yourselves where you want to put it. But
do I want to put Pete
so to me,
Carroll?
if we want to even say he's in the top 4, he's in the top 4. I mean, going to 2 Super Bowls and winning a Super Bowl in the last 3 years, he's not missed the playoffs. He's done this with a quarterback that nobody believed in. He had to
including 2
rehire.
of my co-hosts.
No, that is not true.
Or 3, depending
That
on
is not
Michael's here or
true.
not.
That is not true at all. That is not true at all.
We'll run the tape, don't worry.
You're going to be very hard pressed. I will not accept this slander. A lot of people didn't believe in Jalen Hurts, though. And he had to go through, as you mentioned, the year of hiring and rehiring.
the first
and
year-
when you lose your coordinators, your second choices don't always end
Remember,
up
the first year
living up to it.
they lost both coordinators and went on to get head coaching jobs. Then the 2 ones that they replaced, he fired them, and then he just lost Kellen Moore after winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, I think, he has a unique style and personality that doesn't, everyone doesn't necessarily vibe with, but you cannot argue the results that he has had. Forget the fact that he just won the Super Bowl. Like, what you do consistently year in and year out, how you retool, how you are able to work with one of the best general managers in Howie Roseman in the league to continue to bring in new talent, to mess with your roster, to bring in guys like Saquon. Like, what they've done there is brilliant. I understand that's not just Nick Sirianni, but he's got to hold all this together. And he's done an amazing job. I think he's top 4.
And on top of that, Paul, he had some turbulence in the locker room that he had to kind of figure out.
Listen to what y'all saying. Turbulence, different coordinators, a quarterback you didn't think you could win with. This guy is clearly the best coach, not named Andy Reid. Clearly.
I could
Clearly. I mean, I'm just listening to
not
everything
argue with
y'all.
you on that.
Yeah, but based on, I'm just going off what y'all said about him. This is clear cut record better than McVay's in his first 4 years. Like, he's clearly the best coach, not named Andy Reid. I mean, it's clear because when you look at it, think about the stuff he has to deal with, like you said, the locker room, the press. Think about the press he got this year with the fan. You got so many other elements to be coaching there in Philly that come with the pressure of it that you don't have in all these other places. The only places I can think of is probably New York, but they not in the realm as far as like winning anytime soon. But when we talk about media and pressure, Philly is up there.
No, they were trying to fire him after last year.
Yeah, we were like, remember after week 2 or 3, before they went on that bye week, we was like, and he got into it with the fan, we was like, is he the coach for them? And he went out and won a Super Bowl. So for me, like I said, if we're gonna just rank him from top to bottom, I'm gonna give him a rank. He's the second best head coach in the league so far. Think about it, he has the second best regular season record in the NFL since in his 4 years.
Since he took over.
Since he took over, 48-20?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
No, he if you want to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that sort of thing, he probably
number 2
would fall at 2. I mean,
2
I would
Super Bowl appearances.
say that's fine.
Favorite to win another one, and then let him win this next one coming up.
Then
Then it's clear cut. It's clear cut.
Then
Yeah,
we're
then we're
talking
not-
about chasing somebody else.
Right,
back.
we'll have to move him into a different category.
Right.
I don't mind you putting him at 2, honestly. I would have Tomlin at 2 just because of the longevity and that he's done the same things. But I have no problem with him being at 2 right now.
Yeah, right now,
Like,
'cause this is
coming off of a Super Bowl win and what he's been able to do. He's done a tremendous job. And you bring up a good point about Philadelphia, because Philadelphia is not the easiest place to coach.
Man.
They're always trying to fire a coach.
And the fans, they'll think about it. He can't, after every loss, he can't go out to dinner. It's like certain cities, you just can't, after certain losses, you know that, Key. Certain cities, like, they cool. Oh, you can go out to eat. Like in Philly, after a loss or a bad loss, you can't go out to eat comfortably. It's going to be somebody in there saying something.
Looking at you
something
wrong.
smart. Yeah.
Or you might walk up to the door and they might just pull it down and say, close.
That's what I'm saying.
Keyshawn is traumatized from whoever did that to him.
Man, they did it to us, not just me. It was a bunch of us. They was like,
And that's one of
they
them.
eventually let us see it, but the dude was joking though, right? He just was,
He was like, nah.
he pulled the thing. I was like, close.
That's the thing. That's a fan base that wears their feelings right there on their sleeve, and they let you know it. Like it's just something. Like I played out there, like against them, and I see it, and I hear it, because I thought the Boston fans was similar, but they nothing like Philly. They genuinely hate you. Like they
when you think about these other coaches that are in this top tier 5 or whatever you call it, he's the only one outside of Andy Reid that had to start with scratch at the quarterback position. He's the only one. Everybody else, Sean McVay, he inherited Jared Goff that had already done some little bit of NFL work. Then he gets a Matthew Stafford who had already done some NFL work. Or even Sean McVay got Drew Brees NFL work. Sean Payton, NFL experience with Drew Brees. Or Mike Tomlin inheriting a Super Bowl champion and Ben Roethlisberger. He's the only one that took a guy, like you said, that people looked at in Jalen Hurts like, ugh, and turned him into the next biggest thing, MVP, Super Bowl MVP, $200+ million quarterback.
Yeah, because Shanahan hasn't won a Super Bowl yet.
No.
So
And Shanahan went to a Super Bowl with Matt Ryan, and then he helped, obviously, with Jimmy Garoppolo and helped with Brock Purdy, but guess what? No ring on either finger for those 3.
Yeah. Well, before we get to the break, some huge NFL news just broke before we came on the air today. The NFL clubs voted to approve participation of NFL players in the 2028 Olympics here in LA. This is very, very exciting news. Key, how excited are you to watch NFL players compete in the Olympics? Oh, here he go.
What? I'm just trying to figure out if I want to join them because I could probably get in it. I'm extremely excited.
You gonna go try out?
No, it's over. It's a wrap. They cheated me a long time ago, Paul. But I'm excited. It should be fun. We gon' look. Do I believe we gon'? This is like a dream team basketball. What was it? 80? What was it? 92? Yeah. This is probably what it's going. Because I can't see, and I've been in a couple countries teaching them how to play American football. And just based on what I saw, they don't have a chance. So I don't know the rules. I don't know what's going to happen. Are they going to cherry pick some of the American football players to go play in their native countries that we may have?
Good.
That is good, you know. But they might have to do.
Don't have enough.
They might have to do a 23andMe type thing, though, to find out. They just might.
Right.
They just might. You know, think about it. There's going to be certain guys that's going to want to represent their countries that we may not even be thinking about.
Let me be clear. We are winning. Okay.
No, I'm not. I don't know.
We are winning
I don't know.
We are winning football at the Olympics.
What if all of a sudden Joe Burrow is from
you know what this is?
somewhere 23andMe and they use?
Period.
I'm trying to help because we should slaughter them, but
No, we are. I'm very, very excited.
No, I am too. It's gonna be wild.
No, this gives the Olympics more star power, though. You know, outside of what we see of our favorite Olympians, outside of what we see from our NBA players, just another professional league coming into the fold. Like what I love to see, like guys like Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen in a summertime setting before the season starts, having some fun, just with my favorite stars all on the man. It's like watching the Pro Bowl but flag again, where the guys actually play now.
Mid-July?
Yeah. And so, like, you know how they play in the Pro Bowl now flag, but some of your favorite stars don't show up still.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you're going to have all your favorite stars actually playing for a purpose.
And they're playing for the country?
Right.
Oh, it's up.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. I got cheated.
Right.
I
can't wait for that.
I got cheated.
I love flag football. I think it's incredible that it's in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Not just because we're going to get to see the stars, but also we're going to have a women's team, which is super fun.
Oh, yeah.
And flag is a big part of the NFL's initiative to grow the game. My nephews both played flag football. My younger brother plays flag football. So many youth players start in flag football to learn the fundamentals to then become tackle football players. But this is going to be so fun.
I didn't play tackle football till high school. Everybody thinks I played Pop Warner. No, I played basketball, baseball, and flag.
Yeah. My brother did that, and so did my nephews.
Yeah, so it's just, everybody thinks the tackling and when you're a younger age, I personally don't believe in tackle football till you get to a certain age.
Yeah.
Because you get kind of worn down. You know, there's little nicks and injuries, and kids, I want them to be kids growing up. But if you could, flag football and 7-on-7 football has helped the NFL at the quarterback and skill positions by far. All these dudes that we seeing now, the Shedeur Sanders of the world, the Cam Wards of the world, Joe Burrows, they all play 7-on-7 football. which
and
is flag.
The skill, the movements that you need to get, like, it's going to be really, really fun. I'm really genuinely excited for this. It's going to be
they
great.
cheated me. I'm excited.
How many players do they get to pick?
It'll be a hard ticket to get. So they're gonna play the 5-on-5 flag football rules from the International Federation of American Football. As of right now, obviously, there's still some years before the Olympics and before they finalize everything with the Olympic Committee.
We
But
should go to that. Are we gonna go to the games?
Most likely.
Are you paying? Because those tickets are going to be expensive.
I bet you it's going to be at least 20 players.
You had a good contract with the Celtics.
We got to get a connect before then.
At least it's going to be at least 20 players, I would think, on each roster, probably.
Well, probably about that. Yeah.
Oh, man. We got to check that.
I'll rely on you two. You guys are LA natives.
In 3 years
No, we
from now.
good. Paul good. We're going to sit in Paul's box at Staples. I mean, at SoFi. Or wherever it's going to be played.
They give me a box key. Y'all good.
If they give me a box. Well, very excited for this. Coming up, the Celtics season ended in devastating fashion and broke Paul's heart.
Killing me, y'all.
We'll tell you if Boston's championship window is closing. That's next.
Killing me.
You know, they just closed down the Truth Lounge for good.
Parents of twins, if you're familiar with far-off drop-offs...
Dad, stop, right here.
Or get DMs about what's for dinner, you may be experiencing tween milestones. For your son or daughter, these can start at age 9. HPV vaccination, a type of cancer prevention against certain HPV-related cancers, can start then too.
For most, HPV clears on its own. But for those who don't clear the virus, it can cause certain cancers later in life.
Embrace this phase. Help protect them in the next.
Ask their doctor today about HPV vaccination. Brought to you by Merck.
Celtics lose game 2 at home. I promise you, I'm walking here tomorrow. No man of my word, though. This is crazy, dog. I can't believe this. You be careful out here, man. Where you see go? All right, dog. So right now, we feeling good. We up 25. Ain't no way we give up a 20-point lead again. All right, we feeling good with a convincing game 3. We got to do this for me. I took this walk. I took a 20-mile walk. They got to do it for me.
The New York Knicks are going to a conference final. And they do it in dominant fashion as they defeat the Celtics in 6 games.
They should play that in the Garden.
Ooh, tough to watch. Well, Celtics were not able to repeat as NBA champions, but that has not changed the team's high expectations moving forward. During his end-of-season press conference, Celtics president of basketball operations, Brad Stevens, talked about Boston's championship mindset. Let's take a listen.
I know there will be a lot of questions about what's next. At the end of the day, you know, I think that will all be driven by the same thing that's always driven us, and that is how do we get ourselves in the mix to compete for championships best. And I think that you know, we'll have more clarity as we take a deep breath, get a little bit more sleep than we have the last 3 nights.
Paul, how much longer will the Celtics title window stay open?
The title window, as long as you got our franchise guys still there, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and I'll even go as far as to say Derek White. Those are pretty much the core guys who will be there for the next at least 3 to 4 years. So I figure around 4 years, the window is pretty open. I would like to hope so. But then again, I think the window never closes in Boston because when you have franchises like Boston, Lakers, Yankees, those type of cities, they compete for championships and they're always going for it. So the window will definitely 100% stay open as long as those guys are there. But when you have great ownership and great franchises, the window is always open.
Yeah, it's going to
Who you being shady about, Rick?
He knows it. He knows it.
Who you giving that bombastic side eye for?
Paul sitting over there talking about Boston always. I'm like,
Man,
it took them a minute to get the one that they just got.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, but no,
I mean,
it's
they
true, though.
They do have plenty in the Raptors.
Yeah, no, they got the history, and I believe the window will always be open to what.
I don't know what that is.
What is that, an L? Steel toe boot.
Steel toe boot.
It's in Timberland.
That's got
stomped down on the streets of New York. What is it on 30? Where's MSG? 30? What is it? 35th?
Yeah, 38, or 37.
30s, yeah.
You think I could get a ticket to a Knicks game?
That's what the Knicks
100%.
took to the Celtics.
You can get a ticket. 1,000%.
I can get out of there?
You're going to get out of there and you're going to get some stuff thrown on you. You're going to get a lot of swearing.
You're going to get a little bit more than
the ticket.
than Rick's side eye.
Yeah, don't put on the green hair and nothing like that. But look, I think the window's open for them. Like Paul was saying, though, when you got...
Oh, did you say open or over?
No, open.
Okay.
Open for them. You got Tatum, you got Brown, Derek White, you know, and whatever other pieces they feel like will be there in the next 4 to 5 years, because Tatum is under contract for the next 5 and Brown is under for the next 4.
Yeah.
So you know they got something. You just gotta what they've got to try to figure out between now and let's say 2027 season is what are they? Because you don't want to have a complete overhaul, and now all of a sudden you get Tatum back, and you're trying to figure out how to fit things in for him. So what I would do if I was Brad Stevens and I had some decisions to make on certain guys, I'm gonna try to figure out how to keep things the way it is, even though I may have to move some players, but I want to keep everything kind of the same, because when Tatum come back, I don't want him to have to learn, you know, everything all over again and try to change the way we do business. So I think the window's open for him for the next 3 years or so.
I'd say that the window is open as long as Brad Stevens is the GM, because the questions that you asked, I don't know what the answers are, but I'm confident that Brad Stevens will find them. Because if I look at, first of all, just what they've done over the 4 years since he's been the GM, all right? They have been to the conference finals every single year, the last 4 years. They've been to the finals twice, and they've won a ring. That's an amazing run. And whether it's a combination of when he was coaching and now that he's the GM, there have been several iterations of this team. There was, you know, once upon a time, there was Kyrie Irving was part of this mix. Went and got a Drew Holiday. Moved Robert Williams, got Porzingis. I mean, he had to go and get Derek White. So when I look at all the moves that they've made and his understanding of what it takes, yeah, they have some challenges, but you guys are right. Like I said it the other day, like outside of Drew Holiday and Al Horford, who are certainly part of the mix, but I don't know if I'd necessarily put them at the core of this team. Everybody else is 30 and under. Derek White is the oldest player among their rotation this year at 30 years old. So you know, we always do this, right? And I think it's in part because Boston went out earlier than we expected. And usually when teams go out earlier than expected, we look at it and go, oh, well, maybe they're not as good as we thought they were.
Injuries?
Yeah, and injuries or age or whatever it is, satisfaction.
Luck.
Luck. What's that?
Luck.
Yeah, that probably wasn't as much. I think this is probably a bigger factor than.
Steel-toe boot. We got the steel-toe boot handed to our head.
But here's the other part. Winning back-to-back championships is hard.
Yeah.
Like we take it for granted.
Winning a championship is hard.
Exactly. And then I think winning 2 is doubly hard.
Yeah.
Because now everybody knows you're coming.
And that's why it's only a handful that have done it.
Right. And so they've been on the doorstep and actually got it done once out of the last 4 years and have been on the doorstep for 4 years.
Yep.
That's nothing to sneeze at. And I think that Brad Stevens has been the architect of making that happen.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think it's open. I don't even think it's anything to consider. Their core is under contract. Obviously, Jason Tatum's injury makes things a little interesting for next year going into the playoffs and what they're going to look like and how they're going to have to retool. What are they going to do about Porzingis? Obviously, he missed a lot of games this season. What are they going to do about, you know, the expiring contracts that they have, Al Horford and whatnot? But they're a team that is always competing for a championship. They're always retooling. They're a well-run organization. They're not dysfunctional. They have their coach. They have their core. I think the window is wide open. I think next year will be interesting because I know they want to still compete and they're not going to have their top guy. So do you just, you know, what kind of moves do you make? Because you don't want to mess everything up for the year after. You don't want to completely change the style of play that you have. So I think they'll have to be strategic in that regard because you don't want to take away from what you will need when Tatum is back.
I'll throw this out there too. When I look at the Eastern Conference, like I'd feel different if they were in the West. I think the West just has a ton of teams that you're looking at it and going, man, we can't half step, we can't miss a step, we got to keep getting better. Eastern Conference feels wide open to me. As Now I don't know what to make of Cleveland because they're young and I assume they're going to be better, but maybe they got exposed.
Their feelings got hurt this year.
Okay.
And that happens.
But there's nobody that scares me in the Eastern Conference. The Boston Celtics did coming in. I thought they were the prohibitive favorite. So maybe they should still be.
Well, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander averaged nearly 30 points in the series win over Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets, including 35 in Game 7. Rick, you voted for Joker for the MVP, but did Shai prove that he is the MVP in this series?
No, he proved that he's the leader of the Oklahoma City Thunder, the team that had the best record in the league. Some people define that as MVP, right? I don't.
How do you define MVP?
I believe it is a little more nuanced than that. What?
No, I was reading the prompter.
Word salad?
Go ahead, go, man.
I believe the success of your team is how indispensable are you to the success of your team. And under that definition, Nikola Jokic fits it more so than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
So you think under that definition, you can't see through the clouds when you're making this decision, right? That who you're gonna vote for.
So you're indispensable meaning to the success.
Yeah, you can't see the future through the clouds, saying, "Hey, OKC has the #1 seed, and for them to even be at the table in the Western Conference Final or in the final, their #1 guy in SGA has to do SGA type things." You couldn't see that? Because if he wasn't on this team, they wouldn't be nowhere near the #1 seed.
It is a regular season award, so I'm not anticipating what he's going to do in the playoffs.
So you couldn't see that?
I don't need to see that. I'm not looking in that direction.
Don't you think you should be, though?
No. I'm looking.
Even though it's a regular season award.
Well, let's put it this way. Where would the Denver Nuggets, I mean, if we're going to compare, where would the Denver Nuggets be without Nikola Jokic?
They would be exactly
They wouldn't have even been in the playoffs.
They would be exactly where they're at, which is at home.
That's right, but they would have been home a lot sooner.
Okay.
Well, and that's my point. To me, that's the definition of MVP.
But they would have been home a lot sooner, too.
I count the value
If you take
part.
the top 3 or 4 MVP candidates.
And they weren't on the team is going to be bad.
Most likely those teams will be borderline play-in teams.
Yeah.
I would say that the Oklahoma City Thunder still would have been a playoff team.
Playoff team?
Yes, playoff team. Would have been one of the top 6 teams.
I don't know about that one.
As who as the best player? As Jalen Williams? As Jalen Williams?
I have a vote.
So this is what you believe. As Jalen Williams as their best player as a playoff team? I'm just
Say that again?
Jalen Williams.
Jalen Williams as OKC's best player for the whole Western Conference throughout the whole season as their best player. They're a playoff team?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think he proved he's the MVP?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is my thing on it. I feel like moving forward, I feel like the MVP, like it hasn't been announced yet. Right now, it's probably going to get announced pretty soon. I feel like you should throw in the first and second rounds as part of the MVP voting. Because if you're the true MVP, you should at least make it to second round or conference finals. That's just what I feel. And I think looking at this series, and the reason we asking these questions is because he did beat Joker. And so now I feel better as like, okay, he's the MVP now. Because if Joker had won this series and then he's on to the next round and then Shai's at home getting the MVP, it would have been a lot of conversation about that.
Do you think that he beat Jokic, or do you think Jokic's supporting cast simply came apart?
Can't do that, though.
Why not?
Because
Why not? I want to put the responsibility on that in the right place.
Because he's part of the team. We all clearly see that Jokic was averaging whatever he was averaging, had 240-plus games. You know, we saw that.
I've seen this guy get 35 in Game 7 and dominate.
Okay.
He showed up when I needed him to show up.
I
saw Joker take 9 shots in Game 7. This guy is an MVP right here.
Well, he took 9 shots because they waved the white flag.
I was juggling. Between SGA and Joker. In Game 2, I was like, Joker. No, Game 1, I was like, Joker's the MVP. 40 and 20. I was like, oh, damn, he's the. And then Game 2, I'm like, okay, Shai. But see, now after the series, I'm like.
That might be why they didn't give you a vote. Because you have to scratch it out, put it back, and scratch it back.
You got the vote, but I think you should always take into consideration, even if they tell you don't, what are these players going to look like in the postseason?
No, I will say this.
You got to be honest.
In my mind, I do that, considering that the votes are public. And I do consider, like, what's the potential of this team? What's the potential of this player?
Absolutely.
But like, to what degree do I put that as part of my process?
I mean, it's tricky because, and if the league gave the MVP out when the regular season ended, then we wouldn't be having
this debate at all.
So I don't know why they don't do that, but they should. As soon as the regular season is over, announce the regular season award. Because it's a regular season award. And if you let it in some ways, it can lead to a potential watering down of the award because, if SGA had won the MVP and Jokic had moved on, we're going to look at the award differently than we will now if SGA ends up winning the MVP. And listen, Jokic, it's to the point where this is just what Jokic is. His numbers are his numbers. He is going to get unbelievable numbers. His numbers are going to be better than the year before. Like that's the type of player that he is. And it does translate to winning. And he is absolutely should be in the MVP conversation every single year. And I get that there's voter fatigue for voting for the best player every year and all these things. But I really think the issue is when they announce it. Because if it is a regular season award, I'm with you. The postseason should not have any bearing on the award because it's not a postseason plus what you're going to do in the playoffs award. It is a regular season league MVP for the regular season. So announce it when the season's over so we know who won the regular season award and then we can move on to the postseason.
It's kind of like the Heisman Trophy.
So who was your MVP at the end of the regular season?
It would have still been SGA.
And yours?
Yeah.
SGA?
Yeah.
And yours, Paul?
Man.
What you gonna tell me, Tatum?
Man, I think I had Joker. Them numbers was looking crazy.
The numbers were.
I know you had Joker.
Yeah, them numbers was looking too crazy. It was like 30, 14, and 10.
He had to though.
And then I mean, when he went into Oklahoma City and put
40,
in that
20,
game,
and 22, or whatever it was.
and he had a 40. Like I
Was
mean,
it a 40,
there was some of
22,
these
and
numbers
20?
were like these numbers was biblical. I mean, they were just. There was 2K numbers some nights. I was just like, geez.
If you want to say, did Shea prove that he deserved to be in the conversation with MVP or that a battle with Jokic? I'm fine with that, and I was fine with that the entire way. It's just the idea that because of this Game 7, when I got Aaron Gordon playing on one leg, when I got Michael Porter Jr. playing with one arm, and I already had a thin Denver team, which is why I gave Jokic extra credit for where they got, that now that's going to determine that SGA deserves the MVP over Jokic. That's just hard for me.
But see, I look at them going head-to-head, which is unfortunate for the voters because that's why we're talking about this.
Right.
You wouldn't always necessarily get that.
I got to look at all that, though. Everything you just said, though, right? Injuries, all of those sort of things. But I'm also looking at the number one seed, where the team is at today. Even though it's a regular season award, it's almost like the Heisman, like I was about to say. You know how the Heisman, the votes over the bowl games start, and usually the dude who wins the Heisman plays poorly in the bowl games? It's just like, this is sort of the same thing with the MVP trophy. If you give out the MVP trophy for the regular season, then all of a sudden, that team that player is on goes home in round 1, 2, and don't get to the final.
It doesn't look good, but that's what I'm saying. The second, tick, the regular season's over, announce the MVP.
Yeah, I think to Joy's point.
Because it's a regular season award.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we don't have to have these
So get the rules changed, man. You
got the muscle.
You keep screaming and hollering, and you got the vote. So
you have the juices. You have the emails.
I'm going to put a
call all your little buddies.
Adam Silver.
And send that.
Coming for you, bro.
Do all your, get your little.
That looked like more of a UGG than a steel toe.
All right, I'll work on it.
He drew a
UGG.
That's an UGG.
Looking at former Thunder Kevin Durant, the Suns have already been
Celtics got it.
have already rumored moving KD, and now they might have a trade partner. According to reports, the 76ers are expected to be involved in trade conversations after landing the 3rd overall pick, and one player they might consider is Kevin Durant. Paul, would Philly be a good landing spot for Durant?
Not at all. I just don't want to see Kevin at this stage go to a mess of a franchise that's like doesn't understand what direction they're trying to go in. In my eyes, I'm not trying to get Kevin Durant because they will probably have to give it a pick and probably Paul George. And now it's like a lateral move to me. Mm-hmm. You got Embiid, Maxey. Clearly what they should do as an organization should trade Embiid and rebuild. And this is not a knock on Embiid. It's just that I think the process is over in Philadelphia.
What I want
try to trade Paul George and build and get younger. I don't want to see this team disappoint me. Like they've been the most disappointing franchise over the last 5 or 6 years, being that they have top-tier talent. I just think they should start over and stop trying to put Band-Aids on some of these wounds and cuts that Philadelphia has been having over the last few years.
But what you gonna get for Embiid, though? Like, if
you
somebody
can get
really
some draft picks,
really
get
want
a team in the Western Conference that's looking to get a Golden State. What about Golden State?
But you got salaries and you got
salaries. Yeah, you got salaries
and
and stuff. I mean, you got to understand who can use Embiid. But like Kevin Durant, he'll look good in Orlando to me. You know, pairing with a young couple superstars, be a veteran presence, give him some scoring punch. I like him over there more so than Philly.
Yeah, Philadelphia just seems like a harder deal to do because you're asking at least salary match-wise, you would have to give up one of those two guys, right? Paul George, because you're not giving up Tyrese Maxey. So you would give up Paul George or Embiid. Both have a history of injuries and both got large salaries. So you now got to find a trade partner who says, I want to take on that salary plus those injuries. And then Philly's got to be willing to pass up that 3 spot for whatever players in the draft that could be part of their future and be able to say, okay, I'm taking an aging superstar that still has a pretty large salary on tack. Then we may have to commit some more long-term money to him because he's coming up on the end of his deal. So all of those sorts, that's why I don't really think at the end Philly will be the right match for them. I just don't.
Good God, no. I mean, any way you slice it, in Philadelphia, I have a team that is talented without leaders. So the expectations are always oversized. And I'm going to take another talented player and add him to that equation. I wouldn't want to do that to Philadelphia, and I wouldn't want to do it to Kevin Durant at this point. If I'm looking for a great place for Kevin Durant, I want him, to Paul's point, I want him to go to a franchise with an established culture where I can just say, Kevin, just come and be part of us and be your best self. Oklahoma City, Golden State, Miami, San Antonio. And I don't know what the trade-off would be. Houston, I think, is still in the incubator in terms of developing theirs, and that they don't have. I don't think it's quite there, and I don't think they have the. Kevin goes in there and immediately has a big imprint on it. I don't know that team's ready to absorb that. In all the other franchises, there's already somebody established, whether it's the way that the coach and the GM operate, or whether it's the star on the team, that I think he can come in and play. But Philadelphia is a quagmire. Like, that's a
quagmire. What's that, Paul?
That's a swamp.
That's a swamp.
That's
quagmire. No, swamps. They're in the East and the Midwest, down south.
My vocabulary.
You want to try and spell that one?
That's where great players go to die. I mean, how many players have we seen go in there in their careers like just they got to get out? I don't want to do that to Kevin Durant.
Okay.
Yeah,
as much as you talk bad about him, like I
don't get that. Don't start. I barely want to talk basketball because I play football. You know, I want to stay in my lane.
KD, I got your back. Don't worry. No matter what Keith says, I got your back.
Coming up, there are only 4 remaining teams in the NBA playoffs. We'll check the vibes of teams whose title hopes are still alive. That's next at Speak.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. Not everyone is careful with your personal information, which might explain why there's a victim of identity theft every 5 seconds in the US. Fortunately, there's LifeLock. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity. If your identity is stolen, a US-based restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year by visiting LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Welcome to Club Speak, where the vibes are always ready to walk to work. I don't know about that one, Heller. Let's check the vibes of the 4 remaining teams in the NBA playoffs. We'll go down to OKC first. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has led the Young Thunder back to the conference finals for the first time since 2016. They are the highest remaining seed in the playoffs on either side of the bracket. So, Paul, what are the vibes in OKC?
The vibes in OKC is they are chilling in the Truth Lounge, Joy. They right where they want to be, where they said they wanted to be at the start of training camp, kicking their feet up like, guys, listen, we on the road for a championship, conference finals. We right where we want to be. They chilling.
Rick?
It's a new dawn. It's a new day. And we're feeling good.
It's a new line.
That's
very nice.
exactly where they are. Look, best team, the only 60-win team that is left right now, and they just knocked off the Denver Nuggets, probably the toughest team that anybody's knocked off to this point in the second round. They have to be feeling good.
Oh, Nina Simone in here. We're doing a little jazz night.
A little Bublé.
Oh, okay. Oh, we're doing the Bublé version. Okay.
Yeah.
Keith.
Very opportunistic. Very. They just feel a certain way about where they at the end of the day. Had to spit it out a certain way. But look,
That's what you get for making fun of me. Every time I mess up one little word on the prompter, Keith's like.
I gotta get it. Yep. Yeah, but they feel good. They've been in this place before, but not this place where they're now in the finals.
Right.
They got a tough task ahead of them against Minnesota, despite having the number 1 seed. So
the vibes are we're number 1 for a reason. They are the best in the league. They're where they're supposed to be. They have probably the league MVP. So we are number 1 across the board for a reason. Let's go to Minnesota. Check in on the Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards and the Wolves are back in the conference finals after losing to Luka's Mavs in 5 games last season. Ant and company knocked off LeBron's Lakers and Steph's Warriors to get to this point. Oh, what a storyline it would be to take over the league after that. Key, what are the vibes in Minnesota?
we coming to take what's ours. We feel it's ours. That's Ant-Man's mentality from Georgia. I'm taking what's mine, and I got to take it right now. OKC is in the way.
The vibes, like Roy Jones Jr. said, my favorite boxer, y'all must have forgot. Because during the season, I didn't see Minnesota making it to the conference finals just because of the way they played. They're a 6 seed. Even though they made it last year, they're reminding people why they made it to the conference finals and are knocking at the door to try to get to an NBA finals.
Live in Minnesota is blissfully unaware because just like these two guys said, they might be thinking they're playing some great basketball. From what I've seen in the first 2 rounds, they are not playing playoff basketball, and they're about to run into the buzzsaw that is the Oklahoma City Thunder. They just don't know
They
it.
got the best record in the playoffs so far.
Who's that?
Minnesota.
Who have they played?
That's who they played. But the West is really heavy. The West is really heavy, and the West is this, and the West is that, but who have they played now?
They just didn't happen to play the heavies.
What do you think, we non-athletic?
No, you guys are both very athletic. I'm just nervous. Oh! Please don't. Please don't do that. The vibes are it's time to prove. It's time to prove. Ant has been in the conversation for being the face of the league for a few years now.
Yep.
They were in the Western Conference Finals last year, obviously a little bit different of a team. But now it's time to step up, get to the finals, and really start to cement their legacy. Let's go over to Indiana. Tyrese Halliburton has led the Pacers back to the Eastern Conference Finals after getting swept by the Celtics at this stage of the playoffs last season. The Pacers knocked off the top-seeded Cavs and Giannis's Bucks this postseason. So, Rick, what are the vibes in Indiana?
Lying in wait, because everybody seems to be thinking or sleeping on the Indiana Pacers, and Keyshawn is just plain sleeping because he doesn't believe that the Indiana Pacers should be in the finals if we're going to have an exciting finals. The reality is these guys they're every bit as tough as the New York Knicks. They're not a mirage, and they're going to give the New York Knicks all they can handle and maybe more.
Tyrese Halliburton is like, overrate this. That's what they said in Indiana. Talk about overrated as a player. He got his team back in the conference finals. Overrate this, because I believe that Indiana, the Pacers, will knock off the Knicks and get to the finals.
Joy, they're going to have to.
What's your friend?
Yeah. Where we starting? Where we start at?
I gave it this look.
What? I don't even want to do it because we didn't catch it on camera. So.
No, we caught it on camera.
Did we catch it? All right.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
They want to prove they're legit. Like my man Rick is talking about people like me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not making an appointment watch. Only reason why it's appointment watch for me is because I have to watch for my job. Because otherwise, it's not appointment watch for me to watch.
This idea that the Pacers are not exciting is just wrong.
Again,
it's just wrong.
I'll ask you again.
Yeah.
Because it's not on our network here at Fox. Would you rather see the Knicks in Minnesota or OKC and Indy? And be honest to the people. Don't be honest to me. Be honest to the people.
I think either one of those matchups is going to be very exciting.
They already know you're lying by saying it. Go ahead, Joy.
The vibes are overrated. No, I'm kidding. The vibes are, they're getting slept on. They're getting slept on. Indiana is a really fun, exciting, physical team. They're a little chippy. I think that this series is going to be really fun. I know Key thinks I'm just saying this because it's the right thing to do, but
it is the right thing.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. I actually think this is going to be a great series. Now, I'm with you. I want to see Timberwolves New York, but I do think that this is going to be a good series and fun to watch and very exciting. Finally, let's head to New York, the city that never sleeps. Jalen Brunson and company have Knicks fans out yelling in the street right now. Bing bong. You happy, Heller? He's been trying to get me to say that since the playoffs started, so I apologize, New York. I don't even talk like that. Paul, what are the vibes in New York?
Joy, you know what the vibes are in New York. You see them, they running out in the streets. It look like a parade after they won in the second round. These guys act like they won a championship. The vibes in New York for the Knicks is overrated. We know they overrated. Come on now. They thought they won a championship in the second round. The vibes for the New York Knicks is overrated.
Damn, Paul, you still holding on to that?
Wow. It's true. Truth is true.
What are the vibes?
Delirious, like my friend right here. They are delirious because it has been forever since the New York Knicks have been this far in the playoffs, and after taking that steel-toed boot to the Boston Celtics, nothing feels better than that. Oh, we are delirious.
Man, you gonna fall through the damn thing messing around, Rick.
God, you're all making me nervous.
No, the vibes are ending the drought. Ending that drought in New York.
25 years.
1999 was the last time they were in the Eastern Conference Final. 1973 was the last time that they won a World Championship.
Only one who saw that game.
Is Rick. That's it. I wasn't old enough then.
He was at the parade. Rick,
He was
at that parade.
emceeing the parade, in fact. Rick was emceeing the parade. But that's what it's about. You gonna look at this game tomorrow, and the first thing they gonna do, they gonna introduce the players. They gonna pan all them Knicks players and former Knicks players. They gonna get to the celebrities, the up-and-coming celebrities, the old heads. They gonna get to Spike Lee. And that stadium is gonna go crazy in this game.
They might be delirious.
That is why I think the vibes are all of the pressure on the New York Knicks. You took down the champions. Paul Pierce thinks you're overrated. You're the biggest brands left in the postseason right now. You have a fan base that is chomping at the bit to get to the NBA Finals because it has been so long since you've been there. So you're going to get all the attention. You're going to get all the criticism. That's where it's going to go. I know Ants is probably the biggest superstar left in the postseason, but the Knicks are the biggest brands, and that does still matter. They are going to have the most pressure on them, and certainly going to have the most discussion if they don't play well.
That's a good point. But they didn't just take down the Boston Celtics, the defending champs.
Did they did the boot.
Steel-toed boot. They smacked them.
I got it.
Took the belt to
the buckle.
Took the belt with the buckle. Yeah,
not the buckle. Coming up, Commanders linebacker Frankie Louvu called the tush-push a cheapo play. We'll give you our thoughts on the defending championship play. That's next on Speed.
Not the buckle.
The Packers officially updated their proposal to get the tush-push banned that would make pulling or pushing a runner in any direction illegal. Commanders linebacker Frankie Louvu had a hard time stopping at the NFC Championship and voiced his support for the ban. Speak up, Frankie.
Yeah, I think they should ban it. You know what I mean? But I know the argument is going to be about like, hey, well, you guys have to stop it. Don't get us in short yardage and whatnot. But I mean, it's kind of like a Chico play, man. You got Jordan Mailata on the right. You got you know, it's pretty much the scrum in rugby. That's how I kind of look at it. And we got to have a scrum too on the other side. And the scrum is, you know, we have a cadence where we all go at once. It's not like you hard count and this and that where, you know, now you're getting us or myself jumping over the pile thinking that they're about to snap the ball. And that's just my own personal opinion, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Dang, I think they should ban it. That's crazy. You can't stop it. Man.
The violin kept getting smaller.
Man.
I don't know. I can't get behind this. Ban the tush push. Key.
No, they shouldn't ban it.
Why would they ban it? It's not their fault that nobody else can stop it. Is it?
It's not even that nobody else can stop it.
Like,
nobody else can run it.
And nobody else can do it. Yeah. So what? It's not cheapo. If it was cheapo, everyone would do it.
Exactly. But you know how it is. You can't stop them. So you want to try to figure out rules to stop them because physically you just whatever they're doing with the push, you can't combat that on your offensive side of the ball either.
If it's cheap, go do it then.
That's what I say.
But that's just word salad. They just talking when they start talking about it's cheap. They just can't do it. Teams that
are not good enough to execute this play or stop it.
You don't hear Buffalo saying that.
This is not fair. We're gonna stop it.
Buffalo ain't got no issue with it because Josh Allen does the same thing. They don't have no issue with it.
Just some weak sauce.
This is weak.
Weak sauce.
Stop it. Just stop it.
Or do it yourself.
Utilize it.
In basketball, they should just outlaw the dunk all the way around.
Yeah, man, I can't dunk.
Yeah,
why should you be able to dunk?
That's what it's equivalent to.
They should just
allow the dunk.
Can't dunk.
We got a guy out here, Giannis is dunking on everybody. It's too easy. He's getting it every time. Shaq just dunks on everybody.
Wemby just dunk. He's too tall.
Just gets it every time.
Yeah.
You can't stop it.
No, it's really silly. I hope they don't
they're not.
outlaw it.
Nah,
ban it. It's just
That's crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Just stop it or do it yourself.
Please stop.
Nobody's cheating. Former Steeler George Pickens is now CeeDee Lamb's running mate after getting traded to the Cowboys. Dak Prescott has 2 legit weapons as he returns from a season-ending hamstring injury. The question is, which elite receiver is Batman and which one is Robin? CeeDee gave his thoughts at a charity softball game. Take a listen.
Oh, no, we both won.
Yeah.
It ain't no A, B, none of that. It's one. You look over there, you see one. You look over here, you see another one. So do what you got to do with that.
How are you at softball?
I haven't played softball forever.
Really? You seem like you would be like a real. How do I say this without cursing? You take softball very seriously.
No, I'm not that dude.
No?
No.
Doesn't he seem like he would take softball seriously?
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
I'm garbage. I'm garbage at softball.
I'm so bad
I
at
struck out the last time I played.
No, I'm not garbage at it. I just hadn't played it. I mean, I don't go to the events and stuff like that. You know me. I'm kind of like.
You seem like a softball league guy.
I actually want to join.
That's not a bad thing.
So I don't want to talk to parents, but I seem like a softball league guy.
No, I mean like just you would be in an adult softball league.
No.
You know.
No.
To stay competitive.
You're going to get cursed out on national TV,
That's not a bad thing. I'm not dissing softball players.
Talking about, I look like a guy that would be in a softball league.
Because you like baseball, so it'd be like an easy way for you to keep playing.
No.
An adjacent sport.
Get ahead and get to the topic, please.
You're also the spokesperson for outrageous wide receiver behavior. Can CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens coexist in Dallas?
Yeah, they can 100%. Because CeeDee is Batman and George Pickens is Robin. Even though CeeDee says we got a 1A and a 1A. There isn't a 1A and a 1A.
Yeah.
He's the 1A.
Right.
Right.
And then George is whatever you want him to be. That's how it is. The pecking order in the passing game starts with 88.
Why don't we do like Batman and nobody likes Superman. Spider-Man? Does that work?
Do they get along? I don't know.
They're not in the same universes, but.
Okay, well, I don't know all this stuff.
I'm getting very geeky right now. Anyway, can Lamb and Pickens coexist in Dallas?
Yeah, but CeeDee says one thing, and I think that's great when you get a new teammate over. You want them to come over, feel good about themselves. And that's all about team camaraderie and building up that relationship. But we all know CeeDee's the guy. Because for one, when you come over to his team, which he's already been an All-Pro and has his accomplishments, it's a pecking order to that. You know, you got to come in as Pickens and just kind of feel your way around, get to know how to get to the arena, how to get to the practice stadium and all of that.
Let's hope he does all that.
Yeah. Huh?
So let's hope he does all that.
Yeah, and then he has to understand the playbook, and there's going to be, you know, a filling out period for him before he makes the adjustment, before he gets, you know, on the same page as Dak, because that's what Dak has with CeeDee already. And can he be a number one? Maybe eventually, you know, but it's all got to play out. But right now, I do believe they can coexist. And I think Pickens understand. I think all players understand. When you go to a new team, like when I went to a new team, I understood I wasn't the guy no more. So I got to be like, all right, let me fall in and understand, you know, the plays and make sure I can make them better. And that's what Pickens is going to do, I believe.
Very good teammates you are.
Like Keyshawn got traded and said, "Give me the damn ball again." Like y'all don't know he got a part two to the book. Oh, give me the ball, give me the damn ball again.
what was your pose when you got the speeches in the locker room?
I just didn't even pay attention. I probably was, who knows? Went to the restroom.
I think they can coexist, but I think this is a great opportunity for George Pickens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not just because he's playing with the Cowboys, not just because he finally has a franchise quarterback, not just because CeeDee Lamb is going to get all the attention, but money is a great motivator for people, and this is a contract year for George Pickens. He's trying to get a deal.
Go over there to Paul. Leave me the hell alone. That's the first thing I'll be telling telling the DB if Paul's on my team. I'll sit there and say, go mess with Paul. Leave me alone. Give me the third DB. Y'all, he can go over there and mess with him.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be able to eat. When he's getting the second and the third best defensive backs, he's going to be able to eat all day long. I mean, that's just, he should just put his hands together every single night and feel like he's died and gone to heaven. Because he got a hell of a quarterback and he got a hell of a receiver opposite of him. So that money thing, that's coming based on just that right there.
Yeah, I agree. Coming up, the Celtics season is over, so it's time for exit interviews. Sorry, we're killing Paul every block. We'll give the Boston players and coaches our grades next on Speak.
Welcome to my class, y'all. Welcome to Mr. P's class, y'all.
Mr. Paul is here. We ain't got to do nothing.
He gets an A from me. This is what they need moving forward. He gets an A.
Where were you when I was in school?
I should have been your teacher, huh?
Mr. P got a trust fund. He just here for the benefits.
What's up, Mr. Paul? Can I get a pass to leave and go to Fatburger to have lunch?
You sure can. You guys would have loved to be in my class. You know when the sub come in, you just watch a movie and the sub just sit there.
I would love to take Paul's classes in high school and in college because he gives them grades out with no problem at all.
Go ahead, man. Take that A.
Mr. Paul is here.
I'm here. Hey, guys. Welcome to my class.
Yeah.
Come on in.
Sure, I'm taking Mr. P's class.
For sure.
I got all the bad kids and the gangbangers. They all in my class.
And you're going to be really older and tired from being up trying to grade, and you're going to be falling asleep, so we can always manipulate
trying to grade.
Yeah. Paul has been a very easy grader this offseason. Now it's time to do our exit interviews for his beloved Celtics, so I doubt we're going to get some very low grades here. I think it's going to stay consistent.
No.
Paul, what are you going to give Jason Tatum this season?
Well, this season, being that there are expectations and we are expected to win a championship, and we came short of that, and we lost to the New York Knicks. Tatum went down with an unfortunate injury, but I still like the effort, so he gets a B-.
Wow, I think it's the lowest grade Mr. Paul's ever given.
But
easily.
It's good. It's good. I mean, we're not supposed to because we lost to the Knicks. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm with you.
The Knicks.
Who you got? What you got, Ski?
I'm giving Tatum a B.
A B with a sad face?
Yeah, sad face. Give him a B. Because, look, man, they were going to lose the game when he was injured, but I strongly believe if somehow, which wasn't going to happen, though, if he could have gotten back to the Garden in Game 6, if he was on that team and he was healthy, they forced a Game 7 going back to Boston. And look, he's been the guy for them all year long. He's had some up and down games. Of course, shooting, we wondered early in the playoffs what was going on with him. And at the moment that, everybody started talking negative about him, he came out on fire for the next several games. So I'm going to give him a B.
Okay.
So you're going to give him credit for the homework that he might have done if he had showed up for class. Is that what it is?
And he wasn't sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he actually got injured, unlike you.
I'm going to give him a PH.
Jeez.
Wow. He just don't like Tatum.
Jeez.
D.
You don't like Tatum.
No, he's
It's not
literally.
personal.
He already showed us that he's earned his Masters. He earned a championship
That's a
last
big
year.
D.
I know the level that he plays at, and he showed us for the better part of the season that he could be that go-to guy. And then when it came to what?
I did that for Paul. Go ahead.
Don't pay them. They gotta grow up.
I know, but it's the teacher. We're like,
Sorry. It's Mr. Paul's class. We don't have to be serious here.
Understood.
Okay,
No, Jason showed me the level that he can play at. And I thought he was their go-to guy. And if I'm looking at the steel-toed boot that they took for the New York Knicks, Jason Tatum was the one who took it. And I do not know what you're making spitballs now.
Not
okay,
serious.
all right.
Don't worry about it, Rick. Don't worry about
That's it.
That's
That's it. You're making spitballs.
A big D from Rick.
And you're going to shoot him with the straw. Unbelievable.
I'm an incomplete.
That is a very, that's a very nice eye.
Thank you.
I'll
This
take
is a nice
that.
eye.
Well done.
Yeah, I'm going to give him an incomplete. Obviously, we didn't know how the series would end. I think they would have lost regardless, but throughout the season, he was great.
It didn't even work.
You put Mr. Paul in my hair. We're going to have a fight in Mr. Paul's class. What grade are you giving
I know,
Jaylen
that's what I'm
Brown?
getting in my class. No, because I'm giving out good grades. You can't be doing that.
Yeah. This is how we get away with everything.
Yeah.
Go. Jaylen Brown. What do you got?
Jaylen Brown, another B- for the simple fact it's the Knicks again, and we only took them to Game 6. You know, I wish we could have pushed it to 7. And like I said, second round, we didn't meet expectations as defending champs or even getting to the conference finals. We're going to keep it right here, keep it consistent.
All right, Key. What do you got?
I'm gonna give him a.
Ooh, that was well done.
He's so stupid. I'm gonna give him a B- because I look at Jaylen Brown. Not only I know, right? Bad art. A B- just because when Tatum wasn't cooking, if he's supposed to be the second guy, the Robin, so to speak, to the Batman.
Yeah.
He didn't really take over when Tatum struggled. He struggled as well at times during the regular season. When Tatum struggled, he would struggle, or he wouldn't just take over. So he gets a little bit of a B-.
I'm afraid to ask, but what is that bump down there?
Yeah, don't.
All right, no, don't answer that. Don't answer that.
Don't. We're way too immature for that.
Yeah, we are.
What do we got?
Look, I got to give him the same.
Whoa, another
PH. D. Look, I'm sorry if my expectations for the Boston Celtics, and we said it from the beginning of the year, anything short of going to the finals is going to be a disappointment.
Yeah.
Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are the best players on this team. They didn't play up to the level that I've seen them play previously, so they should consider this as a compliment that I think that they are both much better students than they demonstrated in my class this year.
So Rick is just giving out D's.
His class
is tough. D for disappointment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him an A. Let's not forget that the Celtics were one of the most feared teams going into the postseason. Yeah, it didn't turn out how they expected it to, but they didn't have a bad season. I'm giving him a passing grade.
That wasn't a passing grade.
I think he did a good job this year.
A.
All right, well, let's get more serious. What are you giving Missoula?
Missoula, I'll give him a B- because just like I put a lot of this on the players for losing 20-point leads.
What are we doing?
Some of this I got to put on the coach too. But overall, they had a great season. They dealt with injuries in the playoffs. Who knows how the season or the series would have went had we had had lost those 20-point leads. So B- minuses across the board.
Oh, tears on this B. So everybody's just getting B's. Bad B's.
Well, the B- for Coach Missoula. I thought he could have made some different adjustments at times. Things wasn't going well in terms of shooting. They set a record for 3-point misses and set a record for 3-point attempts.
Yeah.
I mean, what was it, 64, something like that?
I know 43 misses in the
outrageous.
first game.
Yeah, outrageous.
All right, what do you got?
43 or 45?
Hey.
Did you actually put spit on the spitball?
No, I did not. I'm not that gross.
Terrifying. What do we got?
This is
the
pure
hardest
hate.
grader.
We can't go to his class, y'all.
No.
You know
sure
what? This is how teachers get jumped in the parking lot.
For real. Yeah.
Rick's class is passing pass fail. Like literally.
He definitely ain't no public school.
Yeah.
He definitely ain't at public school with that.
If he is public school, he getting a ride to work because they gonna slash his tires.
I'm gonna give him a C. I'm gonna be slightly kinder and not gonna give out D, but I'll give him a C. The lack of adjustments for the 3-point shots were ridiculous. And look, at the end of the day, they fell well short of their goal. So I'm going to give them a C.
And they tried to run the exact same play 2 times in a row. The first time Jason Tatum goes down and he scores. And Mazzulla said it afterward. We were looking for the exact same thing. Do you not think that the New York Knicks as a defensive team weren't going to be ready for that? And you can put some of that on Tatum, but why are we even at that starting point with the coach saying we're going to run the exact same play and expect to get something out of it?
You better show up to school with some heat.
He definitely had a teacher at the school lean on me. He definitely wanted a teacher there. He wanted a teacher there.
Keep bringing him up to the rooftop.
Man,
straight private school.
Coming up, Aaron Donald walked away. After 3,
what if your report card looked like that?
That would be crazy. I would not make it. I wouldn't make it to the end of the day. After 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards and Super Bowl win, does he miss playing? Let's hear what he said next on Speak. Aaron Donald retired in 2024 after 10 seasons in the NFL. When he called it a career, he said that he felt more accomplished in the sport. But did he ever have second thoughts about walking away? Speak up, Aaron.
I don't miss playing. You miss things from the game, right? You miss, being in the meeting rooms with the fellas, cracking jokes in the locker room, like more of that camaraderie with your teammates. But as far as like playing football and things like that, it's like I don't miss it. Like I be thinking like, I don't even have the passion or the excitement to want to play football, right? I will always love football, but once you lose the passion to put the work in and play the game, then that's when it was time for me to walk away.
Did you ever miss football after retiring?
Once you get through that first cycle, that first year, going through the year. Now remember, I left football and went right into television, so I was like in it every weekend on Sundays, working at ESPN on Countdown. So I was like in the mix with it, and it was a get through the first year. If I can get through the first year, I think I'm gonna be okay. Mm-hmm. Plus, once you start having coaches start telling you man, you should come back and play this year. We need you, and you start thinking about it. And I understand exactly what AD is saying. There's no question about it. But he's got to get through the first year, which he's gotten through. Mm-hmm. He's gotten through the first year. Now, if Sean McVay and Les Snead is picking up the phone and they begging him, we can really use you, you're the missing piece, his mindset might change a little bit. It just might.
Do you miss?
No, I was just like similar to what Keyshawn did when he retired, because I went right into covering basketball, so I was still around the game, but I never missed it. And just like Aaron Donald said, I got bored with the process of getting ready.
Man, it was so...
it's just like we start looking at what you used to do to get ready, and you look like, I'm at this age, I'm not doing that no more. I'm waking up at 5, going to the beach, going to the stairs, spending all day trying to get ready. So that's the part that you lose interest in, the love for the actual game at first.
Yeah, everyone says the same thing, that they miss the camaraderie, they miss the locker room, they miss the guys, they miss the jokes, like that part. But the preparation, the rehab, the massages, the shots, the nutrition, the recovery, and all of that is it's a lot to get ready.
Playing was cool. Like if I could have just gone and played on Sunday, they could have had me on Saturday for a walkthrough, and I could have played on Sunday and been good. Because all the preparation, sitting there listening to him talk about the same things I done heard for so many years,
it gets
and you talking to the dude behind me.
Right.
You ain't talking to me, but I got to sit in the meetings.
Well, coming up, I'm going to showcase my 3-point shooting skills today. Paul is going to grade my perfect form next on Speak.
Hey, where's that?
Before we get to tonight's Western Conference Finals Game 1, this is me hitting a 3-point shot from the NBA line this morning at the Sparks facility. What do you think, Paul?
Man, that's way better than Keys.
I knew you was about to go back. You need to go on with that, man.
Man, I mean, her form looked better than yours. It was just...
I look microscopic.
Man, look at that.
So short.
Dang,
I am short, but I look short.
Key didn't even make one from NBA 3.
Where's my other footage? Where's my whoop-whoop?
Heller? Wop. Wop, wop, wop.
There we go, there we go.
She got the handles working? Oh, yeah. She killing it.
Now I got the slow-mo auntie shot. Boom.
Okay.
Oh yeah, your basketball looks is way better than Keys.
I'm not even fit to get into all that, Paul.
We got to go to your Dorsey foot.
Shout out to Angel McCautry.
That's travel, though. That's travel, Joy.
It's not travel. It's not travel at all.
Now look, there they go.
Look at this.
That's okay.
Garbage.
That's okay. That's all right.
Man,
I got some for all of them.
What? Damn, you
I'm gonna take it there. I'm gonna cut to the white meat. I got some for all of them.
Damn, airball.
The control center want to play them games. That's okay.
Man, I'm talking about, we was airball. He shot about 10 airballs.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. I think he took about.
Yes, thank you to Angel and the Sparks.
That was sweet though, girl. You look like you know what you're doing.
This morning.
He took about 50 shots to get to that.
The Western Conference Finals kick off tonight between the Timberwolves and Thunder. OKC is favored by 7.5 points in this one at home. Paul, who wins game 1 tonight?
Tonight, game 1 at home in a pivotal game 1. I'm taking OKC.
Game 1 of the pivotal game 1. I'm rolling with the Timberwolves in an upset.
Timberwolves in the upset. Yeah. Okay, I am also going with the Thunder. I don't know if they cover 7.5, but I'm going with the Thunder.
No, this is going to be
Ant-Man, let's do this. Let's do this, Ant. Let's do it.
What's Keys is like?
Man, it looked tricky. I thought he was left-handed the way he was shooting. I didn't know he was right-handed.
It's a softball shot. We'll see you back here tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern.
Put in